going to show you what it's like to edit in NetBeans a little bit in case you decide that you want to use it. If you prefer JEdit because you're used to it, feel free to do your editing in JEdit and then to paste in here and debug in the NetBeans separately. I'm going to give myself a little more real estate. Here. NetBeans is very similar to JEdit, so I don't think you'll have any problem finding out how to use it, but let's have a quick look at the main method again. So as an introduction to arrays, which you have ample notes on in this chapter, I will say it would be really nice if I could print out at the end all the numbers that the user typed in and not just the sum. So I could say, like, you enter the following numbers and make a list. But the problem is that every time through the while loop, I'm getting a new next number, and I'm never storing the numbers that the user typed in. Actually, there's not really any way to store the numbers the user typed in because we're not sure how many the user is going to type, and so we would have to declare a huge number of variables and up top to cover however many numbers we think they might have typed, and then lots of if-else statements to figure out which variable to use, and it would just be very unwieldy. So what we need is a way to keep a whole bunch of values in the same variable, and that is what an array does. So an array stores a whole list of values of the same type in one variable. Magical. And the declaration looks like this. Again, I'm going to skim this a little bit because I know you have a ton of videos already on this. So they're doubles that we're collecting. Double square brackets denotes an array. Double user nums equals new double. And then I would like to put a value in here, like maybe I'll let them type in 15. But as usual, this causes my programmer alarm to go off, and I think 15, rather than hard coding a 15 in there, I think I'll make a final int for it equals 15. And then if I need to change it later, I can change it in one place rather than having to go search for all the 15s and stuff. I also need to keep track of where I am in the array. So the index is equal to 0 right now, and we'll update that as we go through. 0 will be the first element in my array. In order to store this information, that's pretty simple. I will just have to store it in the current array slot and then update my index for next time. So user nums sub index is equal to next num. Store in the array in the current array slot, and then update the index. Get ready for the next array slot. At this point, I should be able to have those all stored, and so I'm going to do a quick test at the end and just type them out. Write a for loop here in I equals 0. Incidentally, index is the location in the array, and that's why I is a common shorthand for index. This would print out everything in the array, so let's see what this would look like. User nums.length, I++. You'll get a lot of practice with that this week. And I'll just print out system.out.print, and maybe I'll print user nums sub I and a little space after. Okay, and maybe a print line afterwards. Also, would probably be good to say what I'm printing, something like that. So be good. You entered, and you print, you entered, and then do the for loop. Okay, let's take this for a drive. I'll run it and just see what's happening so far. Enter a number, 1.1, yes. Enter a number, 2.2, yes. Enter a number, 3.3, no. You entered, oh, this is good. The only problem is that it's printing out a whole bunch of zeros that I didn't enter, but I can see that my data went in fine into the beginning. So I need to change this so I don't get all those extra zeros. The math looks great. User nums.length is the one thing that's controlling my for loop. That's why it's going all the way to the end of the array. And I want to know which variable is storing the number of total entries that I have. So I entered 3 of these. I want to know what is 3. Well, let's take a quick look in the debugger to see what that might be. So by the time I'm down here, set a breakpoint, what could I use to debug? Run through this a couple times. Yes. Okay, no. So now I want to see, I've entered 2 numbers. Who's keeping track of that? You entered, oh, and it's paused here. And it's filling in my variables. And here we are. There's my total number of entries. There's my index, which has the number that I entered. And if you look back to the previous code, you'll see why index has the right number. It's been keeping track of where I am in the array. So that gives me enough information. I'm going to stop my execution here by clicking the stop button. And I think I'm clicking the stop button. There we go. Okay. Instead of user nums.length, looks like I should be using index. Now, one more thing. I'm going to keep this breakpoint active so that we can take a look inside our array. So if I debug again, this is really going to help us when we start using arrays in a big way. Here I am entering numbers.